A Minecraft movie is a comedy where we follow a vibrant bunch. We've got Steve, played by Jack Black, who lives in the alternate universe known as the Overworld, which is threatened by the evil Malgosha, who's searching for a powerful artifact. In our world, a young boy named Henry is teamed up with his sister Natalie, a realtor named Dawn, and a cocky video game competitor named Garrett, played by Jason Momoa. This group is sent to the Overworld and they need Steve's help returning home, but they must also help him fight the evil that threatens the Minecraft world. Okay. Here I am questioning my life decisions that led me to sitting here in front of a camera at the ripe age of 30 talking to the internet about the Minecraft movie. I want to start with a disclaimer. I am not a gamer. I have never played any of the Minecraft games, so if you haven't either and you're wondering if it's worth checking out and you want a non-gamer's perspective, then you've clicked the right video. I also want to add that I fully understand that this is just a gag movie and that it's for families. It almost just feels stupid to even review it, especially on this platform where I'm mostly reviewing what I consider to be respectable films. I say that because this is exactly the type of movie that when faced with any amount of criticism, people will probably defend, saying, well, it's just a dumb movie that's supposed to be fun. You're not supposed to take it seriously. I totally get that, and that is exactly the approach that I had going to see it, but that does not mean that it can't still have flaws and be criticized. So here we are. So this movie's core subject is sort of creativity. Following the sentiment of the video games, it's about the endless possibilities of one's imagination and the passion to express that through creating. In this movie's case, it takes a couple characters with that passion and draws them into this fictional world where they can build structures and craft unique items. I say that it's sort of about creativity because while that's definitely what the movie wants to be about, there just really isn't that much artistic expression. A couple characters get creative a couple of times, and the crafting of items makes for a silly gag, but the theme of creativity plays second fiddle to the movie's cheeseball antics. So really, I shouldn't be calling it the core subject, I should just call it a recurring subject because it's merely an idea in the movie and by no means the crux of it. The movie's greatest strength is how much it leans into cheesy gags. It is unapologetically stupid, fully embracing how stupid the concept is. On paper, the premise of the movie is ridiculous, so it directorially acknowledges that by leaning further into the stupidity with how they direct actors. Like at one point, someone is writing a check, and rather than acting well and actually writing it how you would write a check, we just see them scribble it up and then hand it over to them like a cartoon character. The movie's humor is very dumb, but it actually started off strong. For much of the first act, I was actually laughing at a lot of jokes. I was simultaneously acknowledging that it was probably gonna get old fast, which it does, but at the beginning, I was really liking Jack Black and Jason Momoa. The two of them were the movie. It is very much tailored to their personalities, fully embracing their comical strengths. Momoa's character, Garrett, is a straight up douchebag. His douchebaggery toward the kids and his lack of self-awareness made for some funny moments. And Jack Black is Jack Black. He brings his trademark physicality and his undying rock-hard attitude, and it really works for this movie's humor. So yeah, for the first act, a lot of the jokes were hitting. Once the inciting incident occurs and Steve enters the picture, the movie really falls off hard. Either the cheeseball jokes just stopped being funny or they were just becoming less clever. I don't really know which, but the movie just all but stopped being funny at this point. Some of the jokes are just very dated and cliche. Some of them are just tailored to children, like putting Jack Black and Jason Momoa in compromising permissions for cheap laughs. Once they embark on their quest, the movie starts to develop characters, which would work if the tropes weren't also really cliche and half-baked. The conflicts between Henry and the other characters are just very predictable. Not only does the movie take place in the 80s, but it also just wants to revive dated family movie tropes that should have died during that decade. The movie is set up with the most jam-packed exposition dump, and the lack of originality in the premise should really speak for itself. The characters in the real world discover the video game world, and they need to stop someone who wants to exploit a powerful object for their own cliche reasons of evil. Again, I'm not a gamer, but at this point, it felt like the entertainment value of the movie was mostly hinged on the recognition of the IP. It seems like there's a lot in there for Minecraft fans to sink their teeth into, just so they can say, oh, it's the thing that I recognize, For the rest of us, though, we can only really use our imagination, so I guess the movie succeeds in that regard, making us use our imagination. That just, goes hand in hand with the confusion. There's also a subplot back on Earth with Jennifer Coolidge's character that didn't matter to the main plot at all, but it's definitely not an oversight. It's just one of the gags in the movie. It's a very dumb mini story and it didn't need to be in the movie, but that's kind of the point. Its inclusion is a joke in itself, so in the end, it did its job. As for things that didn't really need to be in the movie and didn't do their jobs, we have the characters Natalie and Dawn. They are the serious characters. Our main characters are all really dumb and insufferable to be around, so they are there to scoff and roll their eyes at the others. They, unfortunately, for lack of a better descriptor, got the Sakura treatment. They have their influences that prove relevant in the third act, but for pretty much the whole movie prior, they just felt very sidelined, especially Dawn. She's a realtor who, in the most contrived fashion, gets swindled into being part of the journey. There was really no reason for her to be in the movie except for giving Natalie somebody to talk to when the party splits. So going into this movie, my thoughts were, man, it just looks like it's gonna rely too much on Jack Black and Jason Momoa being themselves. And I wasn't stoked on that. Ironically, walking out of this movie, my thoughts were, Jack Black and Jason Momoa being themselves was the best part of the movie. The movie's not that long, but by the time we get to the third act, I was just so exhausted by the same cheap gags and subpar story. I was just waiting for the credits to roll. So before I give you my rating for this movie, I just want to give a little PSA because the internet seems to be repeating the same thing that they did with Wonka back in 2023. Ever since the first trailer dropped, everyone on the internet has been up in arms about how terrible this movie looks. So I just want to clarify, and I don't mean this in a condescending way at all, I just want to clarify, kids' movies are a thing. I am by no means saying that if you're an adult and you like this movie that you're a child. I'm not trying to insult anyone for enjoying this movie because adults can enjoy kids' movies. There are things that I enjoyed about this movie. I just want to clarify that this is a family movie because when I see grown men on the internet crossing their arms and legitimately, with all seriousness, using this movie's existence as fuel to dunk on Hollywood, it tells me that they actually believe that this movie was made for them, which says a lot more about their lack of understanding of media literacy than it does about how mediocre this movie actually will be. So to drive the point home, this movie is meant for little ones. Adults can still have fun with it, but we are not the target audience. Now, having seen it, I can tell you that as an adult, for me, it lands right here on the better end of lacking. It has its funny moments, but I just cannot bring myself to say that the movie is fine overall. It's a gag movie that will probably best serve Minecraft fans, so don't expect anything unique and don't expect all of the jokes to land. Thank you for watching this review. If it brought you any value at all, please give it a like. It really does help the channel grow. I'll see you next week with my review of Warfare.